Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we are back here with Gregory Moore, our supernatural, right? I'm going to call you our supernatural. Well, that's part of his name of his company. It's Supernatural Entertamited Productions, correct?
Yes.
Beautiful. Also has his own YouTube channel, website, Gregory Moore TV. Tell us how we can reach out to you.
You can reach out to me through Gmail at supernaturalentertainment@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me at Gregory Moore TV on Facebook or on Instagram, The Flaming Godhead.
Beautiful.
Either way, you can reach out to me.
Great. And would you mind introducing yourself to our listeners, please?
Yes, my name is Greg, aka Red Venom 10. I'm the host and director, producer of the Flaming Godhead, as well as Red Venom 10 show and so many other different things, but the founder of Supernatural Entertainment and Productions that specialize in psychic healing, psychic awakening, meditation, spell work, better decisions in self-mastery, and so many more fun things.
Great. Well, it's exciting to have you here. Always great conversations. You're usually on fire. Literally, your mind is going a mile a minute. You're connected with spirit. You're helping people contact their loved ones who have passed to the other side. There's a lot to you, and on a daily basis, also as a dad, Gregory is super cool. I mean. God bless you. How do you keep it, shut it off? But there's so much you help people with besides contacting deceased. Do you also see a little bit into their future?
Yes, I do. The reason why I don't, it's kind of like this. It's not a contradiction, but let's just put it's in middle ground. Depending on the person, how close I am to them, and if they're open to it, and I know that they're not going to try to, backfire on me or try to hurt me or something like that, I'll open up and tell them that part about themselves, but I have to be close with you just because of in the past. I've told many people their future and it wasn't pretty, and that backlashed on me. So to make sure that I'm safe and that my family's safe, I don't want nothing bad to happen. So I kind of play it that way, but I mean, there are some people that their future just screams out to me right away and I can't help but pick up on it. So it's one of those kind of things as needed, just put it this way. If you really needed it and it's something that's needed, most of the time, if you pay attention to what I'm saying, I'm really warning you about a lot of different things. Sometimes people just don't catch it. Like I said in the last conversation we had before with you, Jill, sometimes it just goes over people's head, and and you got to pay attention to that, because sometimes how the supernatural works, especially when it comes to reading the future, it's the little small subtle things that goes completely unnoticed that could do a great wondrous deal. And sometimes it comes in just keyed words, and the more you meditate on it, the more it evolves and open up for you. Versus sometimes, so it foretelling the future is something that I specialize in, but it comes in its own form, and it takes a great deal of patience in letting it come in its own form instead of just coming in the form of basically me putting it into words where it doesn't make sense to the recipient, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Wow. You can sense those types of things. I mean, can I ask you a personal question? Are you sensing anything about this sickness that seems not to be going away from me? It's been 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's more like a flu. I mean, it's
not COVID, but it's my throat, my nose, my ears are clogged.
I know it's the flu. It's a lot of, that's what I mean by it. A lot of people overlook that one too, and
okay, all right.
Believe it or not, literally, I mean, my daughter, me, and my baby mama, but I have this breathe easy stuff that kind of helps the nose and breathe easy stuff. And the more, like when I told you before, when I'm connected with people, I pick up on it. So my whole family does. So it's weird how this works, but trust me, it's definitely not that. It's more the flu, because I mean, a lot of places the snow is coming and then it's not coming, and then some places, I don't know, down here, especially in Tennessee, I mean, we get the snow and right now it's raining. Well, I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure up in New York, it's probably like snowing or something like
Yeah,
that.
well,
And
we
then
had snow over the weekend, almost 2 feet out on Long Island where I'm from.
yeah,
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? So like, yeah, that's insane. Oh my God, I don't miss it. I gotta drive up there to Oklahoma and this stuff. Oh my God, I'm like dreading it. My body has just been completely drained. Like, oh my God, what is this? This is not me, but I'm already knowing that it's transitioning on top of everything else. And I know I keep checking into my spirits and I keep checking into myself. Are you sure? 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 And I'm really known for this. So it's it's the flu. A lot of people are not. I mean, your immune system is strong enough. If you haven't gotten it already, I mean, it's not making you feeling sick or any of the symptoms like that in the matter. I mean, it's definitely the flu because it's flu season. Um, this COVID has got us completely wrapped up into a lot of
Yeah,
different.
yeah. It's all about COVID, COVID, COVID. And I'm like, it's
Yeah,
not
and it's
COVID.
like
So what is it? I'm like, can you have a cold for 3 weeks? It feels like a new cold every week, and it just won't go away. So finally going to the
that's the
doctor
flu.
tomorrow. I'm like, what is it? So good. I'm gonna get tested for the flu. I'll let you know what he said.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely the flu, and that's one of the things that evolves more rapidly than that Omicron, whatever that, which is the new
Omicron. Oh
strength.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Omicron that's basically focused on the kids and stuff. So if it's not hitting the kids or anything like that, which is hitting some kids, but I mean, the fact is that we're so moving along, so far along with this COVID evolution evolving into the point where it's now hitting the kids, and it's just like all parasites or however you want to call it. Some people call it biochemical weaponry or whatever because it's tested done on humans. And if you look at the stuff that's coming out now, especially with certain people coming with certain ways to be able to track human from implanting things in their brain and stuff like that, it kind of does make you feel a little kind of skeptical and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, that sometimes it's the universe talking to you, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's just people who actually have been there and known these people physically and overhear them talking about it, and they decide to just leak that information. But none in the case of the matter. I mean, one thing that's for sure is you can guarantee is that if the more you know about your body, the more you'll be able to tell exactly what it is and stuff like that. And if your body is screaming at you, it's just the flu and it's evolving because maybe you're like me, we got a little bit of Indian in us, you know what I mean? And sometimes it takes a long, like we get sick like every 7 years.
Yeah.
Sick for like 7, 8 years, and when we get sick, oh my God, it's ridiculous. It's like it's all of them at once. We get the stuffy nose, we get the sore throat, we get the coughing, we get the
Uh-huh.
aching body, we get the shivers. It's all of the above, and it's like once your body go ahead and shell shock that and get rid of it, it's like you don't even feel it anymore. It's like that was what your body needed, your immune system needed to basically keep itself focused so that it could overcome any other bacterial infection that may come our way within the future. And this is something that we fell away from, but this is true. You'd be surprised how many people don't get sick for like 20 years plus, 7 years plus, and it's like, wow, you don't get sick at all, do you? No matter what the situation is. It's like, yeah, that's just how it is. But when you do, it's tough. But once you overcome it, though, you feel so much better and so much stronger. It's like, yeah, that's just what it is, a transition, and your body's just keeping itself in check.
Got it. Oh my goodness. Well, what did you want to talk about today? I know you're always on a roll. Thank you for letting me ask my question.
Oh,
And
anytime.
what did you have in mind for us
Um,
specifically?
well, I was like thinking about some things, as and I was thinking like, you know what? I mean, I don't know if Jill is comfortable with talking about her past or
Of
some of
course
the.
I am. Anything you want to say. I don't care. Swear to
I
God, I'm an
mean,
open book.
well, I would like to hear
Please.
some of the people that you introduced, I mean, an interview with in the past, I mean, I, I see myself in know who I am and stuff like that, but I'd rather like get to know the superstar that's in front of me. Cause you know what? A lot of people need to, they need to have their brain checked a little bit and just retune into that. And it's like, yeah, remember, this is a superstar right here talking to you, and it's cool to let a superstar. I mean, that's one of the most greatest
No.
feelings is to let a superstar let you, you know, be yourself and talk, but then still be humble enough to open themselves up and talk to. And it's only fair that I be on the recipient end and listen to you talk about some of your great moments. You know what I mean? Because it's That's what makes you who you are.
No, no, my greatest moment, I'll be honest with you. Well, it's not even work though. It's becoming a mom. I always wanted to become a mom so bad. Like that's all I
Okay.
ever wanted, and I couldn't. I didn't. I wasn't able to get pregnant. Lo and behold, I ended up having my first son by myself with a sperm donor. I wanted a
Hmm.
baby so bad. I made it happen, right? So,
There you go.
and then I realized after having a first kid, and then the second one I had with my friend, it was like, oh my God, wow, what work means nothing anymore. It's like, I mean, you still need to work, but it's like looking back, I lived my life to work. Now I want to live
Hmm.
my I want to work to live. I used to live to work,
Hmm.
and I used to be here, there, everywhere, and working so much. And like you mentioned, that I was always doing a lot of entertainment stuff on the red carpet, interviewing celebrities. And yeah, that's great, but it gets tiring. Like we talked about last week, though. I met some
Right.
great people, so I'm very, very blessed. But it taught me also to be, just to be. I mean, not me to be grounded, but that more people should understand that they're just normal people and they're just like us, type of thing. But my biggest achievement is becoming a mom. I have my son turns today. He's 5. I've been working on his
Uh,
cake all night and stuff. So yeah, he's turning 5, and then my other son's 7.
mhm.
But I also feel like I lost myself. I love being a mom, but it's full time 24/7. I live alone. I have my 2 kids. I'm working. I'm like, so it's hard. But then you know what? Someone else has it harder. But that's all I can say is I always wanted kids my whole life. So that was finally my dream. At 35, I finally have a kid. I was like, yay. So that
I
was
know that's
that.
right.
That's it. But work wise is amazing. But I mean, you have kids too, right? How old are they? I mean,
Yeah.
if the baby is a little, how old is the oldest?
My oldest is 7.
Okay, got it. So you understand. It's like
Yeah, I
it's
totally do. And
beautiful, right? Oh
it
my
is.
God.
It totally is. And then you ain't lying. It's a job, and it's like, oh my God, there's moments you be like, oh my God, you like a warhead. Your head is just completely popping off because it's like, I'm surrounded by ladies too, so
I
it's
know a lot.
it's like
Yep.
I'm a guy, and it's like I'm surrounded by all these different ladies, and and it's not something that's bad or anything like that, but a lot of people don't take into consideration either. It's an interracial relationship, so it's even more harder. And then the
Uh,
fact that I don't have family there, so I have to teach my daughters how to be, be black and how to be Indian and how to be a sorcerer and all this other stuff. And
uh-huh.
they got their grandparents here that's teaching them how to be Asian and stuff. And it's like,
Oh wow.
yeah, it's and I ask myself every day, like, how in the world do I even understand them? I'm trying to figure it out, but it's true, and congratulations on your son with his birthday today. I mean, happy
Thank
birthday to
you.
you. I hope you have a great time. I already know he's gonna have a great time because I be seeing it like on Twitter, like what? Like he went to Legoland or somewhere like that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
we
that
did
is
that.
so
Yeah.
dope. I know they'd
Yeah,
be
we did
like,
that a few weeks ago, but
yeah.
I post things later in life. Yeah.
No, it's all good. No hard feelings. I mean, you're doing it, and you know what? You got your wish, and you're doing what you would want with your wish. So you're not one of these people out here that wish for something and then regret it once they get it. You're
Hmm.
full 100% throttle on this, and there's nothing but blessings that's going to continue to come your way from just that alone.
Oh my God. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So family changes everything.
Oh
But work
yeah.
is, yeah, it's part of life. But see, I'm like you, like you're fascinated with my work. I'm fascinated with your work. You get to connect to like
Yeah,
dead
I
people.
know,
I
and
love it.
you'd
Uh,
be surprised at the knowledge that gets passed on to me too. And it's some people, you come across them and they say some wise stuff, and it's just like, what? I never.
tell us some of the stuff that you're learning.
Like, this
Can you
well,
share?
this one person, yeah, for sure. This is specifically for you. I mean, uh, because it was shared to me, and I want to share it to you because it's definitely blossoming there. One person was like, "Man, as long as it was this Asian guy," he said, as long as you take care of your kids, and whatever your money you get for your kids, and you take care of your kids first, and always put them first, no matter what, whatever situation it is, you're gonna be just fine. Just never ever forget that. Because when you have kids and you get this, when the divine, I made a post before about this, about being a god and being a goddess, because we have the ability to create life within our womb. So many people, sacrifice that power over to the
Yeah.
higher power, but we've been blessed with that ability to become like that and to be like that in that image. And we forget that. And, some people just get so down in their feelings and they forget that, we were born to be better. born to be great. And with that message right there, saying that's like basically saying that, you know, the gift of life is something to not take lightly. And if you treat that gift of life that you've been given the way that you're supposed to, there is nothing but abundance of life that'll keep on coming back your way. So it just keeps transcending. And I mean, that's your legacy right there. And you know, you want your legacy to be blessed. You don't want your legacy to just die out, you know, right there with you. You want it to keep going. And, you know, when the future comes, you're seeing the future through your legacy eyes. You're not seeing it through, I mean, it's safe to say that the immortality has been reached once your offspring has been created and you've left legacies behind for them to inspire themselves off of your work and stuff like that. So it's like it's a great concept to play with, and it matches a lot. But you know, reaching to that point of longevity and living long enough to see 1,000 years into the future and still live that 1,000 years with your kids right there. It's like, yeah, that's but you know what? It's nothing to be really worried about. I mean, a lot of people look at death as the last final stage. It's not. It's just another stage. It's another part of ourselves. And you know, and I should know that as much as I've been around it growing up. I mean, I should know that. You know, so it's sad, and it's one of those things that catch you off guard. No matter how you look at it, no matter how comfortable you are with death, there's another death spirit that's even more powerful and more dreadful than the one that you met before. And it's like, how do you speak to that spirit without being afraid of that spirit? Well, between you and I, it's just another being that has a purpose. You know, it's just another being that has a purpose.
Aw.
Once you get to know deaf spirits and talk to them on a regular daily basis, and working with healing and stuff like that on a level like I'm working with, and I mean like the kind of healing where it's in you're a shattered individual from within. We already know that once you become a shattered individual from within, it's hard to put those pieces back together. How do you put those pieces back together to rebuild yourself? And what greater teacher than teach you that than death itself? Because I mean, how many people have shattered just because of witnessing or seeing death? You know, so I mean, all these from an occult point of view. I mean, and I want to take you there from an occult point of view. We look at every aspect, and from a Wiccan point of view, because I've studied my Wiccan too from way back in the day, and now from a holy sorcerer voodoo perspective, which is a Bukor, and from a perspective, we look at the aura, the shape, the meaning of it, and everything else that goes along with it. So like, as you start breaking down these different parts of what it is that you're looking at and what you're meditating on, you begin to dissect that energy and process it, and you're able to see it for what it really is. And that relationship begins to grow stronger, and it becomes to the point where now you know where it is and you know what it is, and you know what it is. And it's just like, I know what that is. And it's like, hey, now you see death, you're like, hey, you ain't coming to get me today, is you? Like, no, I don't have no time. I ain't coming to get you until, you know, maybe 2036 or 2044 or 2050. I might give you an extra few years too, just because we got a tight relationship. Like, what? You can do that? I'm deaf. I can do it pretty much when it's in my area of power. So, like, I mean, you got to really think about it from that perspective. I mean, what are pathogens? I mean, what are cancer cells? What are all these different things that we carry that represents both life and death? You know what I mean? And in between is immortality. You know, and what we do on a day-to-day basis, we stop growing physically, but from our childhood tragedy, those that come from a real bad background, I mean to say. Now, not everybody's born with a silver spoon that had that beautiful life, you know, where they just blissful about everything, you know what I mean? And they didn't have to learn what the meaning of happiness was. They learned it from just getting talked to or whatever like that. But I mean, like, you come from a background where basically you just wake up because, oh my God, you felt something bad was going to happen. And then next thing you know, you go to the window and you see somebody get shot and killed right there in front of your face. And of course, you got parents that neglect you because they have high drug problems. And when they're around, people lie on you, so they beat you into a buddy pope and stuff like that. I mean, that kind of childhood like that, you know, you once you begin to understand what those different spirits mean and what that was preparing you for in life, you resurrect from that. You know what I mean? You become like, in a sense, you do kind of become Jesus, because once you learn how to
Yeah.
resurrect those different parts of yourself, you put it back together, and now you have to find the right functioning vibration for it so that you can continue to have that part stimulated, which is the same thing that surgeons do and other MDs that do up in the medical room when they're doing surgery to replace your heart or replace your liver with another liver, or do you know how can you say different incisions on your liver because it has this blister on there from drinking too much or whatever the case. And if you don't get it off, this cyst on your liver, and if this cyst on your liver doesn't get off within 6 months or 60 days, you could possibly fall into an ill coma and become a vegetable for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? It's just so many different ways of how we are instruments, but then we are the facilitator of these different powers transcended down in human form, that it's impossible to say that there is no other higher, greater life force that teaches us through the invisible, or who likes to stay unknown to us. I mean, hey, I'm pretty sure you have plenty of moments. And if you haven't had moments
Of
where
course.
you literally walked into a room and like, what the heck was that out of
Yeah.
nowhere? And it's like it just disappeared. I mean, those are real spirits. Those are real life, you know, entities that's coming, and ancestors or whoever it may be, coming in there and visiting on you and stuff like that. And sometimes it'd be other things, but it's the truth. I mean, the invisible, and learning how to feel those invisible energies and becoming tuned with those invisible world, it's a gift all by itself, and it's something that's earned regardless if you're born with it or not, because what happened is that the spirits are now aware of you, so therefore you have to earn your
Yeah.
way, just like you have to earn your way in society. Everything matches itself, everything repeats itself, from the higher heavens to the low underworld, back to the earth again. You know what I mean? As a tree, it represents the high heavens, the middle earth, and then the underworld.
Yeah. Beautiful. And thank you for sharing. I know you've shared your personal story with us quite a few times, and it can't be easy, can't be at all. And thinking now you have a family and your kids, and like for them to grow up to experience that, to see that. I mean, it's just heart wrenching. And so I commend you on getting through all those hardships, and it's making you help so many people. And I can only imagine as a parent now, how are you raising your kids? You clearly want the best for them, right? We all
Yeah,
do. And
yeah.
you want to be that dad, and that that strong presence in their lives. And it's so sad that my parents, they never got along. My dad was a drug addict. They were together for many years, but still. But the problem was, they always fought. So that everyone has their own story, their own chaos. But things,
Mhm.
everyone goes through these childhood traumas, and it affects us later in life. I mean, I'm sure that still has an effect on you. Everything still does. I mean, it's hard to get to that root cause to change, but your work, and like you said, you found Jesus, you found God, you found this whole other, I mean, gosh, and now you're helping others, unfortunately, because of what
Yeah,
you went through, but it's part of our life's purpose, right? Unfortunately, to go
yeah,
through
pretty
whatever
much.
unfortunate
Yep.
events in our life are, not making excuses. It's horrible, but it's, I just feel those things in our lives are just part of it. And it's like our path, which some may say that's horrible, that's sad, but it's just, right? I mean, what does spirit
It's
tell you? I mean,
one of the hardest things I have to deal with, and sorry to hear about what happened with you growing up, Jill.
but it's, hey, everyone has something.
It's
It's
it's never
okay.
easy. It's never easy to go through
Uh-huh.
anything like that. But we're gonna be brave here. So
Yep.
going on, man, Jill. Honestly, being close and being strong with my daughters, especially being that they're emotional beings, it it helps me to be able to feel, because for a very long time I couldn't feel. So now I'm to the point where now I can actually feel a lot better than before. I can stay happy. I could, before I couldn't even feel happiness. I couldn't do anything just because of this. And one of the things that I'm working on now is feeling sorrow and all this other stuff to put myself back together. And the hardest thing that I have to hear coming out of my oldest daughter's mouth is like, Dad, I couldn't even imagine coming home from school and
Yeah.
dead or something like that. It's like, oh my God. It's like, typically in the back of my head, it's like one of those it's another what was that? Atomic bomb just went off in my head. Like, oh
Uh-huh.
my God, it's like I don't want to hear that, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? I'm gonna be brave enough because you know what? That's what she's gonna. This is her legacy too. You know, she's gonna have to grow up with that, and how I see it and how I deal with it. It's the same way she's gonna either learn to adapt to learn to deal with it or not. And I want her to adapt to deal with all situations exactly the same, but in its proper maturity. And you know, and it's never good to hear that. But you know what? Honestly, I'm pretty sure when she gets older, she's whoever finds her, they're gonna love the heck out of her, and they're gonna be like, this is the new age of a woman right here. And you know what? They're gonna realize that she's very worth keeping, and she ain't worth to just
Mhm.
treat like a dog. You know what I mean? So like, I have to. The spirit tells me this: you have to learn how to realize a generational curse, and you have to realize the difference between what your parents have done versus
Mhm.
you, and you have to fix it within yourself because there is nobody else wise enough to fix it in your family. Unfortunately, it's
Mhm.
like, oh wow, you got to tell me like that. It's like, well, look around you. Do you see anybody else in your family trying to reach out and help you?
Mhm.
They know what you're going through, bro. They see you got all this success. And look, if other people can find you because of your success, there is no reason that they can't find you the same way. So what do you think it is?
Yeah.
It's like you got to be, you know, sometimes that's one of the things that we have as individuals is hard. It's hard to embrace is to accept the truth right in front of our face. It's like we could be a nurse assistant, we could be, you know, graduated from Harvard, but it still doesn't give, it still doesn't explain the reason why things are. And sometimes the truth that's just lying right there in front of your face, it's hard for you to grasp that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you know already, then why? But that's because you don't, you know, but you second guessed yourself. But if you really take the time back out and look, I mean, most psychics will tell you this. Why would you doubt yourself for? You've been great so far. It's like, yeah, but you know, it's always something that just always pops up in between that. My approach is that oh, you have no need to doubt yourself. Now let's go back into the past and think about it. How many times have you ever spoke something to existence and it manifested? Even though it gave you
Yeah.
a little bit of problems, but how many times have it manifested? Every time. Okay, so it manifested every time. So now what do you think what do you think that you should be learning from that, even though it manifested every time? You know what my clients usually say is like, well, that I can actually manifest things. Right. But you're also forgetting the lessons that goes along with it too, that's preparing you so that it can manifest for you. You see what I'm saying? So like,
Mhm.
it's like, so you're looking like, so what is that supposed to mean? Okay, so say for instance, I wanted to be a star. I ain't thinking about exactly how much it takes to be a star. I never meditate on it or nothing. I just keep saying I want to be a star and I'm going to speak it into existence because that's what I'm going to be. I don't care what nobody say. And then all of
Mhm.
a sudden, I'm getting all this beat up and beat down, and I'm getting all this chaos and all this everywhere from everywhere. Like, what is this?
Wow. Take your time. Don't worry. I've been blowing my nose too. I'll get a tissue as well.
Sorry about that.
Don't be. I sneezed before to have a tissue, so I've been holding my snot in myself. So it's cool.
It's
See, I
all
just grabbed one.
good.
When you got up, I was like, all right, let me go bed.
Here you go. Hey, look, we're sick
I
brothers and
can't help it.
sisters,
I don't
but
want
you
to
know
blow my
what?
nose in the mic though.
Nah, it's right. I mean, but as long as see, and you know, it's so many. It's just certain things, even about that, that drives people insane to be like, oh my god, you can't be human. But dude, we're human. It's like you said before. You know, you got to remember, we're just human. We're not, regardless of what our special talent is. At the end of the day, we're still human.
Yeah.
We still fart, poop, pee, and do all that other stuff. You know what I mean? Real talk. So I
Yeah.
mean, but back to what we were talking about. So like those lessons that need to be learned right there, and all of a sudden I'm getting all this chaos, but I never even thought about it for once. I'm just sitting here praying for deliverance, and I'm going crazy because oh my God, I can't believe all this stuff has happened to me. But I never even thought for once that it's because of what my desires is it to be a star. It was going to bring all this chaos, and I have to learn how to overcome all this because that's just the way the universe works. It wants to make sure that what you're asking for, you can handle it so that so therefore the universe prepares you to receive what you're asking for. And then, Bishop T.D. Jakes says the same thing too about God. And I mean, in all divine spirits that cares about the individual, putting it just like that. So we have no issues. You know what I mean? This is our amendment. We all have the freedom of religion here. So therefore, with that being said, I don't want to hear any nonsense about I'm wrong for whatever. My individual religious, how can I say, religious relationship with Jesus and God is my own, and I'm teaching it to other people just like with anybody else, regardless if I practice voodoo or not. You know what I mean? And as long as at the end of the day, I'm prayed up and I'm literally saying from the bottom of my heart nothing but good things, and I choose to use my tongue in a good way to help people to mature and become encouraged. There ain't nothing that you can say against me about that other than the fact of what. So with that being said, we're done with that one. So just know that, when you ask for these things, you are getting prepared. You are getting put to the test to see if you can handle it. You know what I mean? You've passed your test. You know what I mean? And this is what you want, you manifested 2 children in your life. You wanted to be a mom, and this is what it means to be a mom. You know what I mean? Right here, this moment, you working, you're doing your thing.
Yeah, working hard for them, starting to save for college. I mean, who knew? I never had was around boys. I mean, I had a brother didn't do sport, but like now all these sports, how much they cost, and then the equipment. My son done it for lacrosse, and it was $300 for the equipment, $300 to sign up. I'm like, what? And then he wants to do wrestling, and so I want to be that mom to try to provide and give him those things. But it's a lot to raise a kid. My mom was right. My mom warned me years ago, and now she's passed, and she's looking down and laughing at me like I warned you. So gotta work. We gotta work. Gotta do our thing. Gregory, we're over time. I didn't even realize it. I apologize. I have to go to the next show.
It's okay. It's okay.
So we got to wrap this up. I'm so sorry. Would you mind sharing your best form of contact information?
Okay. Supernatural Entertainment at gmail.com or Gregory Moore TV on Facebook or Instagram, The Flaming Guy Head.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing everything with us. And we'll talk next week, I hope. Okay.
Okay, for sure.
All right, bye, sweetheart. Have a great
Bye-bye.
day. Thank you. And all of our
Bye-bye.
listeners, stay tuned. More of the show is coming up, right? When? After the break. Don't go anywhere. Bye.
Okay.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.